Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey tells us what surprised him in his committee's hearing featuring testimony from former Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates. Here's One America's John Hines.
You mentioned what's next. I think two of the witnesses you want to bring along are Mr. McCabe and I think Mr. Comey.
Yes.
How would those comport them with the testimony you have heard in this hearing?
Well, so what I want to do is talk to the case agent who interviewed the subsource in January of 2017. In that interview, the Russian subsource who worked for Christopher Steele said all this information in the dossier is a bunch of hearsay and bar talk. It's not reliable. They interviewed him again in March. So what I want to know is that when they renewed the warrant against Carter Page in April and June of 2017, did the case agent or the intel analyst tell Strzok, McCabe, or Comey that the dossier was no longer reliable? And if they were told it was not reliable, why did they continue to use it? Here's what you need to know. Anybody who kept using the dossier after it was clear it was a bunch of garbage should be fired and go to jail. And the question is, did McCabe and Comey know that the dossier was no longer reliable? I find it hard to believe that people in the FBI would not report that to the top. So that's what I'm looking for next.
So would you suppose that subsource might appear at a September hearing or a late August hearing?
We won't go to the subsource. We're going to go to the FBI agent and the intel analyst who did the interview and prepared a 40-page memo showing that the dossier was a bunch of garbage. Horowitz, the Inspector General, found this memo based on the January interview of the subsource. It was clear to the FBI in January 2017 that the dossier was unreliable. The FBI continued to use the dossier for warrants in April and June of 2017. What am I trying to find out here? Who did the case agent and the intel analyst tell within the FBI about the results of the Russian subsource interview? Here's what's a crime. If you know the document's unreliable and it's the key document necessary to get a warrant and you use it anyway, you should go to jail. The question for me is, did the head of the FBI and the number 2 at the FBI know that the dossier had fallen apart? I find it hard to believe that they did not.
Biggest surprise from the hearing, sir?
That Comey went rogue. The biggest surprise to me is that Sally Yates didn't know that her deputy, Bruce Orr, was working with Steele, that she had no idea that anybody in the investigation hated Trump's guts. She was sitting atop of a cesspool and didn't realize what was underneath. But really the big surprise to me is that Comey, against the direction of the number 2 at the Department of Justice, set up an interview with General Flynn in a highly inappropriate way, I think, to manufacture a crime.
Chairman Lindsey Graham, Chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, thank you very much for talking to One America News. It's very good to catch up with you, sir.
Thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.